Alright, let's start now with a tumbling setup. So I have a Thumler's tumbler, Model B high speed over here. That's for the wet tumbling. And then this is a Dillon CV 2001, which is a big vibratory tumbler with corncob in it. And then when I use that Dillon, then I use this big Dillon media separator down here because the tumbler holds too much, won't work in a regular size separator. And when I use the wet tumbler, then I use this RCBS media separator to separate out the pins. So this is just about the right size for that. Alright, so this is the Thumler's tumbler, and I've got about 5 pounds of stainless steel pins in there. So let's go ahead and put the brass in. This is 30-06 brass, and I just sized this. It's been lightly tumbled already, so I got most of the gunk off it, but it's still got some dirt on it. And then of course it has sizing lube on it right now, so I need to tumble all that off. So I've got that almost halfway full, probably about halfway full. Don't really want to put any more than that in there because if I get too much brass and not enough soap, it won't get it clean. So I'm going to fill this up with cold water until it's almost to the top, about an inch from the top. Actually, I'm going to stop it just a little bit short, and I'll show you why in a second. So now I'm going to put in the soap, and I use the Armor All Ultra Shine Wash and Wax, and I put about 2 ounces, just about a 1/4 cup. I'm going to go a little bit heavy this time, so I get all that case lube, and I've had trouble before, so I'm going to pour that in. And the reason I stopped a little short is because now I want to rinse out the cup a little bit. So I'll bring that up to just about an inch from the top. And now I've got the powdered Lemmy Shine, and I'm going to put just a little bit in there. People say maybe half a 9mm case or something like that. All right, now I'll top it off, cover it up. Now these wing nuts, I'll try to tighten them evenly. I'll snug them down, but I don't want to get them really tight. All right, off to the tumbler. Now for the tumbler, I use this timer that I get on Amazon. And I'll actually plug the tumbler into here and then plug this into the wall. And this will let me set it for 1 or 2 or 4 or 8 hours. So I can do things like go to bed and go off and do other things without worrying about it tumbling itself to death. Typically when I wet tumble, I'll tumble for anywhere from 2 to 4 hours, depends on the brass. I'm going to go ahead and set this for 4. I may not let it go the whole time, but at least I'll set the timer so it won't go any more than that. Alright, there it is. This ran for 4 hours, and then it's actually been sitting for about 24 hours. And I just ran it for just about 2 minutes after it's been sitting all day. So let's crack it open and see. So I'm going to pour the dirty water out of here. I'm going to use my hands to make sure the brass and the pins don't come out. And then I'll rinse it a little bit, but I'm not going to worry about getting it really clean. couple pins as I do this. I'm stopping to grab them out of the sink. All right, close enough for this step. Now out to the media separator. All right, here we are at the media separator, so I'm going to pour out the brass and the pins into here carefully because the pins will kind of bounce out and jump around. All right, still got a bunch of pins inside here. That's okay, I'm not going to worry about that as long as I've got all the brass in the separator. I'll set that drum aside, close this up. Alright, so now all I have in the basket here is brass. Next step is I want to put this brass into this old kitchen colander that I have. Alright, now I'm off to give the brass a final rinse. Alright, so now we've come from the media separator and we're going to rinse the brass out with water and just do that final rinse, get all the soap off it. This is where you find out if you did the media separator thing correctly. Hopefully you're not going to get any pins falling out in the sink. Turn the water off and keep swishing it around for a minute just to get the rest of the water out of the cases. Okay, next step, dehydrator to dry the cases. All right, this is the dehydrator. No longer used for food, as far as my girlfriend knows. So I've got 4 layers here, so I'm just going to try to sort of evenly spread out the brass. Alright, and I'm going to run this on the top temperature for the dehydrator, which is 155 degrees Fahrenheit. And I'll run that for 2 hours, which is more than enough to dry this. I'm not sure how long it actually takes, but 2 hours definitely does the job. And then that's it. We're done.